We are in, I'm right next to the canal behind, it's Lukie Reef and Resort and Dive Center. And I'm waiting for a gentleman named Kendall. He's going to take me in his little skiff out into these canals here and show you what, all the debris that's still in the canals. And the big charter boats can't get out to the ocean, and so it's really affecting their business and tourism, at least in this area. Not in all areas of the Keys, but just in this, mainly just this area, the lower Keys, and especially these particular canals. I know Lukie is only sending out, I think, snorkelers right now, because they have a smaller boat that can get out, but they can't do dive tours or whatever right now until this gets cleaned out. So I'm waiting for him, and we're going to go on a little boat tour of the canals and see what we find as far as the debris goes. Stay tuned. So this is Kendall, who I was telling you about, and like I said earlier, he has grown up in the Keys. His dad was a shark biologist, and they lived on Grassy Key when he was a kid. And he's done about everything you can think of, probably in the Keys, like everyone else here, except for mainly he's been a boat captain. Whether he's taken scientists out or tourists on different charters, he's done a lot of that. And so say hi.
How y'all doing? So since the storm, this is Lukie Reef Resort. There's a lot of people whose livelihoods depend on being able to go in and out of this canal. There was a dumpster right here owned by Waste Management. They just got that last week. The storm was September 10th, I believe. Mm-hmm. And they let their dumpster sit there, so they couldn't even get their big boat down there to change their lower units. If you look forward here, you can see all of their dumpsters and things and all the debris in the canal. We haven't been able to run our big boats. Mine being a big boat, I can't trim the motors up. So I waited until about 2 weeks ago even to apply for any type of aid, FEMA, Small Business Association, because I thought that the canals would be cleared and I'd be able to go back to work, not necessarily taking tourists out, but at least taking out the construction crews and aid workers and doing my thing. But that didn't happen, so now I had to apply for SBA and FEMA. But you can see all the boards and all that will definitely damage my prop. So we can't work. There's a lot of people having to leave the Keys because they can't work. It's a really sad situation. But you can see right here, this is coming up on our right. This is the boat lift. They generally stick out about, see up ahead, up the head there.
Oh, this over here.
Sideways, pulled apart, water there. I bought this skiff. I didn't really have the money to buy it, but I bought it to clear the canals. Me and Captain James Reyes, he's one of the captains that works for Lukie, and we started cutting on trees, and then we were warned by one of the science divers that we shouldn't even be touching this water because people were getting MRSA. I had a friend up in
Did you hear that? MRSA.
Her husband got meningitis from getting in the canal. There's all kinds of bad things happening. All these mangroves are now full of everything that was under people's houses, including paints, pesticides, household cleaning products, petrochemicals, gas cans. You can see there's a bag of garbage there, cat litter box. So the bigger issue is with cleaning all this up is the overall health of our National Marine Sanctuary. You think it would be of utmost importance to clean up immediately, because every time it rains, everything that's in these mangroves and that's washed up. I mean, we're in a neighborhood now. You can see there's somebody's roof. That was Adele. She's one of the volunteers that I work with the Keys hardest hit. We've been doing the cookouts and live music at Old Wooden Bridge on Saturdays and Sundays. We do have a new location now. It's at Watson Field, so we're going to resume the cookouts on Saturdays and Sundays. This Saturday's our first first one in the new location. It's going to be great. Free food, free music, free everything, because nobody can afford to go out and do that sort of thing. So it's just a way for neighbors to get together. Here's a big buttonwood tree. We cut most of this up, but it's a giant tree and it's all across underneath here. So it's impassable, and it's going to take bigger machines than I have, bigger than this boat, to move that out. But anyways, about the Keys hardest hit, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. It's Lisa and Gino Polettis, and they've done wonderful things for the community. They've got donors that provide all the meat. My friend Mike Nusser's provided a sound system for us. We've got a family fun boat tours. Kathy, she comes down and really works hard with distributing all the donations and making sure that people down here get what they need. People need things. It's a great way for the community to get together. We talk, we get to know our neighbors, and find out they need a washing machine or a bed or blankets or a refrigerator, and we put it out there and we get it and we bring it to them, and just trying to make people's lives a little better. You know, after Ike hit in Galveston, it had the highest suicide rate in the U.S. I think for 2 or 3 years, and it's because people give up, and people's pride and egos or shame or whatever they're feeling, because we're not used to living like this. This is not how we live. We don't live with this garbage and all that, and it's overwhelming, and people just give up. So trying to spread a little joy into people's lives, give them something to smile about and something to look forward to on the weekends.
That's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but the rewards far outweigh the hard work. Just seeing people smile. Here's another dock. This dock moves back and forth with the tide. It's about 35 feet long. You can see how it was down here on the corner. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, it's a big deal, and I think I don't know how many dive shop employees there are. I would imagine about 12 people's lives and livelihoods are at stake. I know there's three captains that work there, and only one boat's able to run.
Where's this at?
That's the little boat at Lukie, and then of course I keep my boat there. I've had a bunch of calls. People want to go out on charters, not as many as I would normally have this time of year, but I can't take them. I can't get them out on the water. So as a result of a one-day cleanup for the government or whoever pays to come down and clean this up, now I have to file SBA loans and unemployment, FEMA, and all those things. Yeah, so it's not what you can see, it's what you can't see that's under the water. Look, there's a bucket of some kind of chemical floating there, and all that. All our mangroves are full of all that.
So you were saying that the canals are basically toxic.
Oh yeah, for sure. So even for me to get in here and start cleaning it up, which a lot of stuff I could, like probably this tree. I even have friends that are marine salvage that are willing to help me, but I'm not willing to put them at risk at this point. Usually you can see the bottom of this canal, and it's nice and clear and pretty, and there's nurse sharks and barracudas, and this is a nice ride in itself, just getting out to the open water.
So usually this is a nice ride, but as you can see, it is really mucky and dirty and full of debris, full of mangroves that are been pushed over and sticking out into the canal. So you're saying here's a dock that's in the canal, right up here.
They move back and forth with the tide, so you might make it out of the canal, but then coming back in, if I hit something like that with my boat, it's going to cost me $2 grand.
Did you hear that? I don't know if you can hear him, but he's saying if he hits something like that with his charter boat, it's going to cost him about $2 grand. I mean, look how dirty. It's really dirty. And he says this is usually just a really nice little boat ride out to the ocean, and it is just not like it used to be. It is not so nice right now.
It's 100% better than it was. At least 100% better than it was even 2 weeks ago. So
hard to imagine.
According to some people that I spoke with, the salvage companies that are doing this job, now that it's the Christmas holidays, aren't going to start back to the first of the year, which is unfortunate for us because it's one of our busiest times of the year. We call it Hell Week. Not hell because the tourists are here, just because we have so many trips. And this is the slow time of year where we look forward to Hell Week coming up because we finally get to go to work, make lots of money, and get caught up.
So yeah, Hell Week is a good thing because you can make lots of money and get caught up for when you didn't in the slow season. And now they're not going to be able to do that because the cleaning out the canals has been waylaid till the beginning of January.
You can look up, coming up here, you can see there's a whole roof.
There's a whole roof up here in the canal, and I'll pause this for a minute and I'll show you a close-up in a second.
Right on the left.
Right here on the left is a whole dock. Can you slow down for a second? I'll get a good shot. It's a whole dock right there.
Or roof. There's no telling what's underneath
roof.
that, how far down it goes. So you pull that up into your troughs, and as you can see from the size of our boats, both the Lukie Kokomo Cat 2 that Captain James runs and my boat, this is the kind of thing that we have to contend
Slow down for a
with.
second. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Wow. That's what they have to worry about. That kind of stuff. It's even worse when you can't see it.
Well, then, and you can clearly see, you can't see down in the water to see what's laying on the bottom either.
Yeah, it used to be clear. He was saying earlier that the canals used to be really clear and you could see the bottom.
Wave to the camera.
Is that the way you want it?
Right. There you go.
Hey, you know this channel here, right before?
Yeah, I see that.
So I did some research online and I found out that like on November 17th, the county and state were talking and they decided that because the county doesn't have resources, the state will fund it and then be reimbursed from the federal government to clean out the canals. Now some of the canals, or some of the places have been removed of the displaced boats, but none of the cleaning of the canals has started yet. And he was saying earlier how...
Oh no, they clean some in Summerlin, where all the wealthy live.
Okay, where the wealthy live, they've cleaned them.
Yeah, they cleaned it up Summerlin, nice. You can...
So, just not here on Ramrod Key, which is where we're at.
Run out there, I gotta take you.
So he's talking about this main island out here.
See, it's all blown apart. That used to be one island. You can see it's in sections.
This whole strip here.
Well, there's two islands. That's Picnic Island directly in front of us.
Oh, okay, that's Picnic Island.
And then the island to the right of that.
Right
I'm
over
not
here.
sure the name of it, but that's a bird sanctuary.
That's a bird sanctuary right next to Picnic Island. Okay.
And it's destroyed. It's blown.
And the bird sanctuary was destroyed and blown into about 5 different pieces. And we were talking about how earlier it's taken these islands and the hurricane blew the island apart and has made these little floating islands just off everywhere.
It looks like a tornado went right down the middle of it, I think. Right over there.
Let's do a quick pan for you guys. It's a private island over there.
You can see all the docks are blown off.
There, the docks over there. You can't probably see, and it's a little far, but and then back there we were just by Picnic Island and the bird sanctuary, which blew apart.
You know,
So we're just talking about, what do you call this on every Saturday and Sunday?
Well, it's the foundation is the Key's hardest hit, which was founded by Lisa and Gino Polettis, and they just saw a need. They saw so many people that didn't have anything and lost everything, that they just, on the way back down, they were up on the mainland. They sent out, I guess, Facebook, what do people need? And it was an overwhelming response of things that people didn't have, and so they started gathering them, and it just got bigger and bigger, and then they just started cooking and just kept cooking and getting things people need, and it's just grown. It's gotten bigger. Yeah, it'll be this Saturday at Watson Field in Big Pine, which is of course one of the island's most devastated. It was one of the last places where just normal people can still afford to live, get an apartment, get a small trailer, get somewhere to live. You know, we've lost so many of our just, I guess, blue-collar workers, people that work at Walgreens, people that were barely making it anyways, but love the Keys and we're living down here. And every day on Facebook I see another post of someone that I love dearly. Like just yesterday I saw that Elizabeth Myra, a good friend of mine that I worked at with Sea Dog Charter, she had to move her family out of the Keys, and she was definitely an asset to our community, and we're losing lots of assets to our community. One of the main reasons is that places that people live for years, as soon as FEMA came in, a lot of the landlords got greedy, and so they kicked out people who weren't displaced, whose places were still intact, who they'd lived for years, so that they could get the big FEMA money. You know, rents went up 200%, 300%, 400%. So places that people live, they got to move out so that somebody that got the FEMA money can move in and the landlord can get rich off the government dole. And that's exactly what's happening. It happened to a good friend of mine, Dave Seeley, who was my one of my instructors when I took my AAUS, which is American Academy of Underwater Science Research diver course. He'd been in his place for 7 years, and they raised the rent, I think, from $2,000 to $5,800 or something like that. And since his lease was up, of course, he can't afford that. He's a teacher at the community college and does tile work. And now he's got to move. I'm sure he already found another place. It's just ridiculous what's happening to people. The hurricane is not over. Just because the wind quit blowing and the tide went down, the devastation is going to continue for a long time, and lives are going to remain affected for years to come. A lot of people, this was their dream to come down here and live, and because of landlords' greed, they decided that they would kick them out and find a new place or find a new tenant to move in and get lots of money.
He just wanted to be clear, this is not his charter boat. This is just a little skiff that he could get out of the canal and to show me around. It's his little tender.
That big catamaran was upside down.
Catamaran out there is upside down, and then this is pretty much in the channel right here.
Yeah, this is the catamaran.
And that's kind of in the channel. A big piece of mangrove debris.
Can float.
Yeah, it can float out.
And float back into the channel. Severely damage our livelihood.
So yeah, he said that all this debris can come right into the channel and totally damage the boats and make it so that it puts a dent in their livelihood for sure, because boats are expensive to fix. So this dock that we're coming upon has already moved out towards the middle of the channel since we first came out. It's a dock there. But what was it?
Come here, Rin.
What was it that you were thinking about bringing out here? Some kind of claw?
Pardon?
You were thinking about bringing out some kind of claw to pick up the debris?
No, there needs to be, the whole canal needs to be dragged and dredged, because there's no telling what's laying on the bottom. Like a lot of this buttonwood, it doesn't float, it sinks. So, you know, if you're coming by here in your big boat, a boat like I have, where you can't raise the engine, it's a straight shaft diesel with a 22-inch wheel on it, it pulls water from in front of it and brings it in. And so anything on the bottom it can be lifted right up off the bottom, like for instance this buttonwood tree right here, pieces of that, bring it right up into the prop, and there we go.
So it's not going to be it's not a simple job of just pulling some things out. It needs to be dredged out. It's going to be a big job.
That's going to be a huge job.
Has the county made it illegal to take your boat out because of the danger? Or did they just, it's like a stupid thing to do?
It would be foolish. You know, get out there and
But Lukie still takes one snorkel boat out, right?
No, they have 2 boats that usually run 2 trips a day. Their big boat has 49 passengers. Their small boat carries up to 6. It's one of the busiest dive shops, or is the busiest dive shop and the busiest charter boat in the Keys. And they haven't been able to run.
They don't even run a little skiff or anything. It takes
No,
snorkelers.
they're running the small boat.
For
I
the
think.
snorkelers, I thought, right?
And scuba divers, yeah.
Oh, they're taking divers out too?
Yeah, but you know, due to the conditions that the hurricane created, the last I talked to Captain James, he said the visibility was 5 to 10 feet on the reef, which is nothing. You know, normal. A bad day at Lukie is maybe 20 feet. That's what you consider poor visibility. Now that would be considered good visibility.
Wow.
Due to the storm, the water is still fouled with all manner of sediments, and you know, in a canal like this that doesn't have flow through, meaning there's no culvert system or anything that keeps the water, it just kind of goes up and down. The contaminants in this canal take a long time to get out, and like a lot of other canals, the same thing occurs. Like I said, this isn't what we're used to. This isn't what we came down here to run our boats through, and this isn't what tourists came down to see the natural beauty. And it's like it's being forgotten and not being cleaned up properly. All those piles of debris on the road, they're all rotting, decomposing, and all the chemicals and everything are leaching into the limestone. Limestone's porous. That's what all these rocks are, and so it could be there for years to come and find its way out to the reefs and further damage our ecosystem.
And so,
and the thing is the mangrove systems and the inshore grass beds and all that, that's the rookery for all of the sea life, all of that for our fishing industry, for our lobster industry, and it's all being damaged. And it's been months.
what I don't understand is they've got this over $1 million advertising campaign to help us out with tourism, yet how are we supposed to accommodate the tourists if we can't take them out on these charters?
Yeah.
So why can't you put some of that money into taking care of this?
They're doing a good job of planting new trees on the side of the highway right next to the debris piles. I don't know if you noticed that all up and down the lower Keys, all of the palm trees that they're planting that aren't native to Keys. They're planting non-native trees on the side of the highway right next to the piles of debris. Rather than using money to pick up the piles of debris, they're planting new trees. Why are they planting new trees when there's a pile of debris next to it that probably has a 5-gallon bucket of Roundup buried in it and Raid Ant and Roach Killer can that's rusting and is going to end up in our environment right next to the new pretty trees that aren't even from here anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too smart
And
to
you can
me.
see that when you leave on your way out, you can see when you go over the bridge at Summerlin, look to your right and you can see all the new pretty trees that they're planting at the heads of all the bridges.
I'll have to check that
And
out.
also, if you drive down Limp Road, where my apartment is, they're taking the debris from wherever they're taking it, and then they're dumping it on the side of the road at Limp Road. Limp Road is a very sensitive habitat. It's an inshore, it's an estuary, and every time it rains, all the chemicals and all of the poisons and toxins that are in those piles of dirt, they're flowing out into that estuary. And in that estuary, that's a key part of the food chain that makes the Keys what they are. And it doesn't make any sense, and now they're burning it. They say they're just burning the wood debris, but I guarantee you, if you go over there and you look at what they're putting in the pile of fire, there's plastics and all sorts of other things in there.
Yeah, so it really doesn't make sense that they're spending all this money on a campaign for advertising for tourism, yet they can't even clean this place up so that the tourists can enjoy it to the full degree that they could before the hurricane.
Right, by going out on a boat with somebody who spent their life down here and can really show them the true beauty of the Keys. This is what I get to show them. So I guess instead of an eco tour, my charters will be a destruction tour. I'm not sure.
A destruction tour, he said.
Keys is considered a national marine sanctuary. It's all a national park. That means it belongs to everyone, from Alaska to Miami to San Diego to upstate New York. This belongs to everybody, and I don't understand why the federal government and everyone's not in uproar to get this place cleaned up so that you and your family can come down and enjoy this national treasure and see it for what it is. You know, it's not like this is my neighborhood, this is your neighborhood. This is a national marine sanctuary. Lukie Reef is a national marine sanctuary. All of the Keys is a national marine sanctuary. So it belongs to you. And my job is to make sure that when you come down here, I can take you out and I can show it to you, and you can leave and just can't imagine that this is America. And I can't believe that it's not farther along and more people aren't in uproar. It's not like a neighborhood. This is a national park. That's why when you drive into the Keys, the first sign you see is, "Welcome to the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary." And it is littered with toxins, littered with debris.
Okay, so is it...
Yeah, all the big hotel resorts, go to Key West, that's fine. It's all nice and pretty. You can go there and get drunk and walk around and look at all the old houses. But the main treasure, which is the environment, is at grave risk right now. And it's only going to get worse as time progresses and the debris sits and more plastic bottles get ripped open from the machines that are picking it up and throw it in the fire.
So you say this type of thing is scattered throughout the Keys, or just this lower Keys, or just even this specific area?
Well, this is the hardest hit.
I know when you say this is, let's clear it up for them. Are you
It's all over.
We're talking between mile marker 40 and mile marker 19. That's the hardest hit, or like just this specific 10-mile radius right here?
Well, I know that in Marathon, it's all blown apart. And the canals are just completely littered. It's all over.
So you had mentioned coming out and trying to clean up the debris yourself, but you just clarified that there's just no way. It's too big a job and it's not safe enough because of the toxins or whatever, right?
Right, it's just filthy. When I said I wouldn't get in the water, I'm talking about inshore here doing this kind of work. You know, this is a job for professionals. Some people have done it, some people have gotten really sick. And it's, you know, you need a machine, you need a barge to get everything cleaned up. I mean, the Keys will bounce back. It just could bounce a lot back faster if people quit thinking about money, like putting up palm trees so the people driving down US 1 think everything's dandy, when you can take a left or a right and go down any street and see people living in tents underneath their houses. And people like me, I'm just an individual businessman. This was my dream, was to finally get to move back home to the Keys, build a nice dive boat, and get behind a busy dive shop and do what I do, which is this, and I can't do it because the people that are supposed to be doing it are having some kind of argument about which friend's going to get the contract or how the money's going to be dispersed. Where people like me are having to leave the Keys every day. Every day people are leaving. We've already had suicides. A guy a couple weeks ago hung himself out on Tarpon Belly. This is a real thing that's happening down here, and unless everybody gets in an uproar across the entire country and says something needs to be done about this, then I don't see it happening anytime soon. And we're just people. We're not a big organization. We're just people trying to make things better for everybody else. And if everybody got involved, we could knock this thing out, get the Keys back to normal, and you can come down here and have the time of your life with your families. Because this is a dream destination, to come to Ramrod and either get on my boat or get on a boat with one of the other captains here at Lukie Reef Resort and go out and enjoy yourselves and see things that you can only see here. And right now it's at a standstill, and unless something's done, it's only going to get worse, because the longer that these toxins, these things sit in the water and the runoff continues, the worse it's going to be in the long run. So
what do you think if more people got involved all across the nation, or at least the state or whatever, what would you propose that you guys all get together and do exactly?
I have no idea. I mean, that's up to the individual.
Whether it's
I find
donations
bands and set up tables, and we cook food and just try to get people to smile, because not many people are smiling down here. And when we have the gatherings with the Keys hardest hit, people smile and get together as a community, and things get done. And if everybody gets involved, come down here, pick up some trash, get a group together, come down and help somebody clean their yard. Whatever, any help is help.
Okay, so it could be a variety of different things that people could do, whether it's fundraising to get some private contractors in here to get some things done since the government's not, or it could be just raising the spirits. It could be just helping to pick things up, like you said, garbage or whatever. Okay.
It's just not where it should be 3 months after the storm. And I guess that's about it. Just it could be a lot better and a lot farther along. You know, the reefs are still there. The reefs are still beautiful. But what they're doing is they're just funneling people down the Keys, funneling people to Key West. They're planting palm trees. They're cleaning up the highway. They're not coming back here in the neighborhoods. And the Keys aren't comprised of just a bunch of rich people from up north that have second homes. There's a lot of people who live down here and work really hard. And it's hard to make it down here because everything is twice as expensive. It's our choice. But this is your National Marine Sanctuary.
In other words, you guys need to be here in order to serve the tourists that want to come here and enjoy this place.
Absolutely.
So you guys need to be here. So
and people are leaving. Good people are leaving every day who do a wonderful job of showing you the time of your life down here.
Okay. I know that I've had some guests come down, and they stay on Big Pine and Cujo, and that's hardest hit. They'll go down to Key West, but they've been diving, and I'm not sure where they've been diving. I hope it's not around here, but they've been enjoying themselves still. So I want to make it clear, come down, you can still enjoy the Keys. He's just saying it's just not where it should be for 3 months post-storm.
Back in these neighborhoods and in the nearshore waters, it's just basically a toxic waste dump.
So just be careful where you're swimming and where you're diving and snorkeling.
Don't swim in the